welcome to my channel, and today we will be talking about hydrological or water cycle. So water is a vital source of energy. Because of water we are able to live on this planet. Water exists in all forms like solid, liquid and gas, and most of the water on earth exists in liquid state. This includes all the rivers, oceans, lakes, streams, as well as other kinds of smaller water bodies. So, roughly 97% of the Earth's water is held in the oceans and the seas. The second most abundant state of water is the solid form, which is in the frozen state. So, when the ice is formed when the water freezes, it is the solid state of water. So that is 1.7% of water is in solid state. So that is primarily found in the polar ice caps and glaciers. Water in the gaseous or the gas form is only 0.001%. That is a very small amount, because water cannot stay for a very long time in the vapor state. Now, the entire cycle of water from land, ocean, as well as atmosphere, when it moves along the three stages of solid, liquid, and gas, it is called as hydrological cycle, which is basically a biochemical cycle. So, it's a continuous movement. Now, water changes from one phase to another, but the total number of water particles always remain the same. So, suppose if we boil 100 grams of water, it remains the same 100 grams of water vapor or steam. And if we condense this water into ice cubes, that also weighs 100 grams only. So, there are several processes through which the water changes its form. The first one is evaporation. Now, the sun is a source of energy that is called as solar energy, so which involves both light as well as heat energy. So, evaporation takes place when water molecules absorb this energy and becomes very active and rises in the air as water vapor. So, this process of changing from liquid state to a gaseous state is called as evaporation. Water vapor surrounds us as we breathe in air. Water vapor is an important greenhouse gas. Greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide and water vapor, they basically insulate the earth and keep the earth warm because they absorb the solar heat energy and retain it. So increasing amount of greenhouse gas leads to global warming. Now, water exists in a vapor state and becomes part of the atmosphere, where it collects other water vapors and forms clouds. There are other forms of vapor formation also, like fogs and mists. Fog is a kind of cloud that touches the ground or is near the ground surface. It is basically formed when the temperatures are cool and the water vapor in the atmosphere gets cooled down, and it condenses to form fog. So the fog can be very thick and can hamper a lot of visibility. People are unable to see anything when they are driving when there is a fog. Now, mist is the phenomena which is caused by small droplets of water which is suspended in the cold air, and it is gone through condensation because of the cold temperatures. There is always moisture or water vapor in the air. So, the higher the moisture, the higher the humidity. Humidity is the amount of moisture which is there in the atmosphere, which is associated with weather and meteorology. So, if we say that there is a high humidity in the air, that means it is very damp. There is another process called transpiration which adds moisture to the air. Now, what happens is that the plants or the green plants, they absorb water through their roots, and this water moves down all throughout the plant. Some of the water is used for the plant growth, and the rest 97% is released by the leaves in the form of water vapor. So this is called as transpiration. When the air becomes humid and is very full of water vapor, the air is thought to be very heavy. Now, these water molecules collect, growing in density until they become too heavy to be held within the atmosphere. This happens when the air becomes heavily saturated with water. Now, in the atmosphere, when heavily concentrated or highly humid air begins to cool, Clouds and water vapor becomes liquid, and this is the process of rainfall or precipitation. So the air that is saturated with water vapor has become so heavy and it has cooled down that it can no longer hold any more vapors, and instead it falls back as precipitation or rain. Forms of precipitation are hail and snow when the condensation hits extremely cold atmosphere. So where it then solidifies, and as it falls back to the earth it becomes ice or snow. Sleet is when rainfall is accompanied with melted or very small particles of snow and ice. Hail are pellets of frozen rain which falls in showers. They are supercooled water which is refrozen in the atmosphere before falling back to the ground as sizable ice balls. Thus, the rain, back in liquid form, returns to the earth's rivers, lakes, and streams, or on solid grounds where it is either absorbed or eventually re evaporated.